Mentioned in your speech that government is not there to solve your problems. So someone like yourself who's been very successful in your career, I guess what is some of the biggest advice you could give to somebody who's in college on how to be successful in life?
But as far as advice that I would give to college students, life is a series of decisions. If you make a bunch of good decisions in a row, then things work out really well. And that means making responsible decisions that very often are based not on what you want to do, but what you think is the smartest thing to do. And what I mean by that is when it comes to career choice, for example, people from the time you've been a child have been telling you to follow your dreams. Okay? Your dreams don't pay you. Right? Lots of people dream of being a center fielder for the Cleveland Indians. Very few of them achieve this particular goal. Following your dreams is sometimes a recipe for failure. Making responsible and virtuous decisions, however, is a recipe for success. And that's really all you can do in this life is make those decisions. When it comes to career, what I've always suggested to people is that you need to fulfill a couple of basic functions in career choice. One, pick something that you love, and there's more than one thing. Two, pick something you're good at, because there are lots of people who love something they're really, really terrible at. Right? The Antifa protesters outside, for example. And number three, pick something that is valuable to somebody else and they are willing to pay you for. If you can find the career that checks all three of those boxes, then you will be successful. Also, recognize that the economy of today is not the economy of our parents' generation or our grandparents' generation. There's going to be a lot of mobility. Right? I've changed jobs. Since I graduated law school, I've had 6 different jobs. I've changed jobs a lot. And the reason for that is I've never been fired, thank God, but there are all situations in which I moved from one career to another because I saw a better opportunity. And people are more and more mobile. People have to move to find opportunity. And also, then all of this falls under one basic concept, which is be goal-oriented. And I mean this in terms of career. I certainly mean this in terms of relationships as well. I think that people date stupidly. I think people date like idiots. I think they find somebody they think is attractive, like, oh, I'd like to date that person. Well, what are you dating them for? Right? I mean, it depends on your goal, I suppose. But if you have a virtuous goal and you're not a piece of then what you should be dating people for is a long-term relationship and or marriage, presumably the latter. If that's the case, then there's a certain number of boxes that have to be checked, particularly a values box. Obviously, attraction has to be part of it, but when it comes to dating, people do the wrong thing. They make attraction the whole thing, and they're like, oh, my girlfriend's so hot, but we disagree on everything. Why should I stay with her? I don't know. Do you want to be miserable for the next 60 years? Because it turns out in 50 years, she ain't going to be that hot anymore. So you may want to think a little bit about your long-term policy. Same thing for you ladies. Turns out that stud, all those muscles can be sagging within 25 years. So, although I will acknowledge that fewer women are dating for the studly element than men are dating for women's looks, because men and women, unfortunately for all of the leftist advocates, men and women are inherently different, particularly on matters of sex. So.